Howard Stern, former radio shock jock, current woke recluse, said, "I'm woke, mother effer, and I love it."
Well, if woke means you think 13-year-olds are hot, then
that's what he believes.
Yep.
We'll get to that.
Yep.
We'll get to that. But let's play that clip of him. He's basically saying, you know, not only is he woke, but he loves being woke. And if you're not woke, you're asleep.
That as a compliment. By the way, I kind of take that as a compliment that I'm woke. I'll tell you how I feel about it. To me, the opposite of woke is being asleep. And if woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that's
not what that means.
That's not what woke
I know
means.
plenty of people who don't give a crap about Trump or don't like Trump that are not what you're categorizing them as.
Yeah,
but
like-
let's continue.
I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine. Well, dude, call me woke as you fucking want. I'm not for stupidity. You know, I ran out Friday morning. I was over at CVS. Thank you, CVS. I went over there 9 a.m. and got myself that new vaccine for COVID. Fucking science. This fucking country is so great. By the way,
science.
Here's the first
Science
problem.
is doing a vaccine that doesn't work over and over and over and over and over again.
But the best part is it's him saying the vax. Like, he doesn't say what won, what was it. He's just kind of general about it. Yeah, it's really cringy.
It's I just don't get, like, they think that it's like a point system. Like, you get points for each new vaccine booster you take, even though it doesn't prevent transmission, and we know that. Like, you get points for saying the right slogans. You get points for posting the right infographic. It's like they're just trying to collect them, and they have no concept of what they actually might be doing to the world around them through their actions.
Yeah. Well, he's
a dinosaur from a different era, running from his controversial past, which is what got him to the place he is today.
That's the other thing that kind of pisses me off with guys like Howard Stern specifically, is like, who the hell is this guy to tell me what's moral?
Yep.
Considering the things he has done and said in the past, he has said more offensive things about every single group of people on Earth than I ever could.
I mean, look up the way he talked about Selena. Look at the way that he treated Anna Nicole Smith. And then we found this clip of him talking about Columbine in 1999. Literally the day after Columbine.
Here we go.
It's chaos, shooting, and
boy, a bunch of good-looking girls go to that school. That guy was right. The guy who called in, he was a little too excited, but there was like really good-looking girls running out of there with their hands over their heads.
Yeah, I'd say the bomb teams are still working.
Did those kids try to have sex with any of the good-looking girls? They didn't even do that. At least if you're going to go kill yourself and kill all the kids, like, why wouldn't you have some sex?
I think the word you're looking for there, Howard, is rape. Yeah. First of all,
I'm gonna feel completely confident in not taking advice from this dude.
But what drives a person to have that thought was the question I asked you before the show. It was like,
I mean, I don't think he had that thought in any type of actual capacity. I think that back then was just an era where you had to say the most offensive thing possible and you were rewarded for it. And that's fine.
It wouldn't even occur to me, you know?
The point is that it's fine. The difference is he believes that he's pulled the ladder up behind him now, and you were allowed to be that way in 1999, but now suddenly to do that is a judgment on you as a person, whereas back then it's not him as a person, he's just a shock jock. But they don't believe that exists anymore.
Right.
They believe that you are what you say on every single topic, whereas other people would give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's just doing it to get a rise out of people, he's just doing it to be shocking, which is lame, but it was part of the culture back then. But if you were to do that now, he would judge you harshly. And that's not even the worst of it. The worst of it is the fact that he talks about how he hates Trump, but then he kind of caveats and says, look, I don't hate him. I hate you for voting for him.
Right.
His audience.
Which is way worse.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, like, and
I don't hate politicians. I hate the common man. Like,
and of course,
that
Howard
makes
Stern,
you look bad.
He was buddies with Trump.
Yeah.
Like, for years.
He says, he would go on the show all the time.
In what sense do you mean buddies?
Like he would have Trump on as a guest all the time and be buddy with him.
Yeah. So he says, I don't hate Donald. I hate you for voting for him, for not having intelligence. Yeah. Well, I don't exactly believe that Howard Stern himself is the benchmark for intelligence.
No.
Just me, right? Like that doesn't seem right. He says, the oddity in all of this is the people Trump despises most love him the most. The people who are voting for Trump, for the most part, he wouldn't even let them in the effing hotel. He'd be disgusted by them. Go to Mar-a-Lago, see if there are any people who look like you. I'm talking to you in the audience. His audience knows that and understands that the people who love him the most, there's absolutely ridiculously cringe, over the top fans of Trump. That's a thing. That's fine. Whatever. Do your thing. But the average person who's voting for him based on policy and what they now call revenge are doing it because he's not supposed to be the everyman. He's supposed to be the dude who comes in and wrecks stuff on your behalf, but for his own selfish reasons. They understand that his reasons for doing it are selfish, but it's to your benefit as the voter.
Also, was it not Barack Obama who said that the American dream was to be Donald Trump?
Yes.
Like the reason people loved Trump before he was a politician was because he was American success personified in the 1990s and the 80s. Like he was the guy. He was the American success. It didn't matter that he started off rich. He was what everybody wanted to be. They all wanted to live in a tower with their name on it in New York. This guy was one of those role models. Being like Trump was being like an astronaut for kids in the 60s, for the finance guys on Wall Street, the real estate investors.
Did you ever see that video of Robert Downey Jr.? He spends like a day at Wall Street, and then they interview him, and he talks about how disgusted he was by it.
No.
I'm gonna see if I can find. It's really
When was
interesting.
that?
It was like back in the. He was doing it for. He was like he was researching for a role. I'm gonna see if I can find that video.
But yeah, they just don't get it. The reason these kinds of people are popular is because it's aspirational.
Yeah.
The working class guy working at a pizza shop, who's watching The Apprentice when he gets home from work at night, isn't watching it because he thinks that Trump is a religious scholar. He's watching it because he wants to be that.
I love it when they're like, Trump, what's your favorite Bible verse? All of them. I don't believe that you're religious, but to the average person, they understand that you're going along to get along.
Yeah.
Do you believe he's religious? You believe him?
In some sense, I'm sure he believes in God.
Do you think he says I'm spiritual?
I don't know what he says.
Here, let's watch this video of Robert Downey Jr. This one always.
Whoa, he looks so different.
If
That's
money
crazy.
is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big-time, small-time, shit-talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
That's coming from a guy who's from Hollywood.
Now, to be fair, I don't know how much time you guys have spent around finance bros, but
Let the cocaine flow.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not. but the problem is it's
You ever been in a frat house?
It's throwing stones inside glass houses.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like so you go to studio to meetings with big studio executives who are the pinnacle of disgusting for society, and you're telling me that that's not to be judged too. I guess he's not necessarily saying that.
He's gone off the woke deep end as well. Like,
Yes.
just like Howard Stern did.
It is the pot calling the kettle black.
Which is sad because he was actually one of the best parts of Oppenheimer. Like I loved him in Oppenheimer.
And he had that really good interview with Joe Rogan where he totally recognized the way things are moving and how it's preventing good art and honesty and all of that.
Somebody says, was this Robert Downey Jr. pre or post rehab? Look, he turned his life around.
It looks like that's pre-rehab.
He gets all the credit in the world for turning his life around and making something out of a bad situation. But it is just funny how so much of it has changed. I was watching an episode of I don't even remember the show. It was like a show called Numbers the other day, and the episode is about an evil pharmaceutical company that's trying to track down people that were infected with a drug they put out and basically take them out. And it's really funny because on the reviews of the episode, people are saying more Hollywood anti-pharmaceutical big business propaganda. I'm like, oh, how things have changed in just less than 2 decades, where now they would be like, yes, big pharma, it's great. This commercial or this episode brought to you by Moderna. right? So things have changed drastically in just 15, 20 years. But a lot of them, I think just because like they're working, they're not as in tune to this stuff. They haven't really caught on to that yet. Or they're so good at it, they just know how to play the game.
I just... The COVID stuff, the vaccines, like... I'm thinking about it now because think about if you had to get the tires on your car changed every 3 months. Would you say that your tires were working? Would you say those are good quality tires? Would you recommend those tires to people? Probably not.
No.
So why are we recommending a vaccine that you've got to get quarterly?
Yeah.
It clearly is. Why is that quality to us? Why are we okay with that?
Because it makes them more money. What do you think? Do you think Howard Stern, do you think it's just like he's got so much in his past that he has to kind of lick the boot?
But nobody's even talking about him enough for him to get canceled. That's the funny part.
I don't think anybody's asking him to lick the boot.
I don't think Gen Z knows who Howard Stern is.
No. This man did not. Nobody forced him to lick the boot. He went down to the shoe store, asked the guy at Foot Locker.
What's the dirtiest boot you
exactly,
have?
You know, I want you to find me the grossest boot you possibly can and shine it with the most disgusting smelling polish possible. And I want you to cook it well done for me.
And I will eat it whole.
And he did this all voluntarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross, and it's Howard Stern. But it's just weird because a lot of people, like, I'm older, so like I'm kind of more in line. Even I was young when Howard Stern was in his big heyday, right? I wasn't really listening to shock jock radio, but like my brother would have been.
Does shock jock radio exist anymore?
It's on it's supposed to be like on Sirius XM, which is where he is, right?
Or is it shock jock podcasts that have taken
podcasts more, right?
Also, the thing is, like, now that it's podcast format and you can do it without syndication from a radio channel, I think people
the whole push and pull of it was like keeping syndication while being as out there and vulgar as possible. That push and pull and that uneasiness with the audience, it doesn't really exist anymore if you're just on YouTube or on Rumble or wherever.
Now you can say whatever you want and have a show about whatever you want, and anybody can watch it. And
unless YouTube censors you.
True.
And pulls your stuff. Unless you're Russell Brand, then you can do it. You just can't make a living doing it.
Unless you're me and YouTube decides to demonetize your video.
So, like, did you ever figure out, like, where in Estonia this was all going on from? It's just stuff.
I have no idea.
It just seems
what
like
happened.
A VPN situation.
It seemed like somebody somewhere was just trying to screw with me for putting the video up. I don't think it's some sort of organized conspiracy, but I do think somebody was like maybe going around trying to get videos on Sound of Freedom that had, and again, this our goal was to be neutral and unbiased going into this. I know I don't sound like I am now, but that's because during the research for it, I became very irritated with
the people
with one side of things.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.